What's up, people? My name is Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie. Currently running Zappa March Madness here in 2022. Elsewhere on this channel, I literally have reviews of every. I literally have reviews. I have reviews of literally every single Frank Zappa album and all his tours and all that stuff. But for now, we got a little contest going on. I got results. This is the part 2 of the round of 16, and bam, the results are right there. Number 1, Hot Rats has held on over Absolutely Free. Number 2, Leather has beat Weasels. Roxy and Elsewhere has barely held on over You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, Volume 2. That looked like it was going to be an upset early on, but Roxy held on. But we did have an upset, and pretty much the only upset still going. The number 3, The Grand Wazoo, has beat the number 2 seed Uncle Meat. So going into the final 8, all 4 1 seeds are still alive. Joe's Garage, Burnt Weenie Sandwich, Hot Rats, Roxy and Elsewhere. 3 of the number 2 seeds are still alive. One Size Fits All, We're Only In It For The Money, and Leather. And the only real underdog still holding on is number 3 seed, The Grand Wazoo. So yeah, we're going to jump right into the first bout right here. I'm going to let you know why you should vote for each one. And then at the end of this video, or now, these are the bouts. Right there, bam, look, there they are. That's one of them. And then I couldn't take a screenshot of the entire bracket, so that is the other one right there. Those are your 2 brackets that are remaining. We're going to do all 4 bouts in this video, and you can vote in the comments below. It is Tuesday when I am posting this. You will have until Thursday, until about 7 p.m. Texas Central Standard Time, daylight savings craziness. And we're in San Antonio. We're not in El Paso, so San Antonio Central Time, Texas time. But anyways, yeah, enough rambling. Let's get on to the first bout. Right. Our first bout, the number 1 Roxy and Elsewhere, the 4th overall seed before I broke them into 4 brackets, versus number 3, The Grand Wazoo. I said I was going to read a whole bunch of comments from people defending these albums, but my internet is not pulling up right now, and so I can't see all the comments. And so instead of waiting around for a couple hours and hoping Spectrum finally decides to work, I'm going to record this now and upload it later. But anyways, there's a lot of love for both these albums, for all these albums in the comment. The Grand Wazoo, 2 really sort of big band, jazz, fusion type albums Frank did in 72. This was, I think, the second and the better of the 2. Shout out for putting out such great music in a wheelchair. That was one of the comments, because Frank was in a wheelchair while he wrote and conducted and recorded most of these, I think all of this material. It's just the Grand Wazoo. It's got 5 songs. They're kind of all over the map in the best way possible. They cover sort of almost like a straightforward jazz territory. In the Blessed Relief, you got a shuffle. In Grand Wazoo, you got kind of weirdness, avant-garde, almost Stravinsky-esque weirdness in Calvin. You got some barrel house, rolling, rollicking piano in Cletus Auritus. And then you just got a great straight-up sort of like prog jam in Eat That Question, with just the drumming, the George Duke-ness, the Frank guitar-ness, just the everythingness, being almost perfect. And then Roxy and Elsewhere, like sort of one of the most cherished releases Frank ever released. Bunch of live material from the Fall 73 band that had Bruce Fowler, Ruth Underwood, the 2 drummers, Brock Simmons came in and sat in. Jeff Simmons returned and did some material in like a follow-up sort of show recorded specifically for this. You have some Elsewhere material, The Son of Orange County, Oh No, The Son of Orange County, Into More Trouble Every Day, which is just one of the greatest things ever that this era would play. Yeah, this is a hard one, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, you got to vote. I don't. What do you think? In the comments below. Is it Roxy or is it the Grand Wazoo? This is tough, people. All right. The number 1 seed, Burnt Weenie Sandwich, the number 3 seed overall, versus the number 2 seed, We're Only In It For The Money. Ooh, We're Only In It For The Money. Sort of, I think, the greatest studio creation, I would argue, Frank put together. Just the editing, the melodies, the social commentary, the noise, the chaos, the Kafka-esque ending in which he references Kafka in the liner notes, not in the song. Just a brilliant album from start to finish. It's one of those you want to listen to the whole thing once you sit down and start it. It's not one of those where I think you can successfully pull out tracks because the whole thing is just melded together so incredibly perfectly. I mean, it really is such an amazing album experience. And I would argue almost the same thing for Burnt Weenie Sandwich. Yes, there are songs that I think are you can pull out and you can listen to. Holiday in Berlin, Full Blown, amazing. Little House I Used to Live In, amazing. Even some of the other stuff, the Igor's Boogies, the ABCs, the opening WPLJ and Valerie are amazing tracks. But the journey from WPLJ through the crazy instrumentals, through the weird guitar solo, through the full-blown instrumental, through some more little quieter stuff, into the crazy madness that is Little House, and then ending with Valerie. I mean, that journey is like almost as complete. It's not as complete. It's a completely different journey than We're Only in It for the Money, but both of them represent such mastery of making an album as a sit down and enjoy the entire thing experience that I think it's fitting that these two are going head to head. Which of these album experiences do you like best? Let me know in the comments below. Vote. Burnt Weenie Sandwich, We're Only in It for the Money. Number 1, Joe's Garage, the number 2 overall seed versus One Size Fits All. Again, just these are two albums that, like, if you find somebody who's into Frank but not really into Frank and they have 4 or 5 albums, these are probably 2 of the 5 albums. One Size Fits All has Inca Roads, one of his best songs. Also has Andy, also has Florentine Bogan. 3 of, I think, his all-time greatest songs. Pajama People, The Jam and That. Both Sofas, San Bernardino. Yes, We Have a Modified Dog. I've praised that many a time. And that little thing called Can't Afford No Shoes. It's a fun little jammy little funky number. This is a kind of straightforward, kind of slightly proggy album. Yeah, I guess. It's not too noisy. There's not a lot of just chaos thrown in. It's just really good, strong, ridiculous compositions. Versus Joe's Garage, which is sort of the epic storytelling mess that is Frank Zappa's concept albums. Start off in a garage in Canoga Park. You end up playing imaginary guitar solos and with no imaginary vocals in Easter hay, you know, as you grow watermelon in Easter hay. So anyways, yeah, Joe's Garage has guitar solos. It's got humor. It's got smut. It's got some great little underappreciated like licks and riffs, like Wet T-Shirt Night. I think of that. There's some really good playing in that. You got the funk of like Joe's Garage 2 with like Keep It Greasy in there, Stick It Out, the awesome Cyborg. You got the ridiculous silliness of like the ending Little Green Rosetta. You really have a little bit of everything in Joe's Garage. Is it too much of everything? Do you wish it was only 45 minutes long and you prefer One Size Fits All? I don't know. You're going to tell me in the comments. Joe's Garage versus One Size Fits All. And finally, the number 1 overall seed, Hot Rats versus Leather, number 2. This is a doozy right here. Leather, just an album that is so huge it got split up into 4 separate albums. This eventually Frank wanted to release it. You know, Warner Brothers said no. And eventually, well, there's a whole story behind that. I'm not going to get into it. It eventually became Sleep Dirt, which made it to the last round. Studio Tan, Orchestral Favorites, and Zappa in New York. This is all of those things, but mixed up, I think, in a much more interesting order. There's some pieces on here that are not on there. There are versions on here that are, for the most part, shorter than the versions on the other one, but still as good. Opens up with an amazing Egyptian strut, closes with Gregory Peccary hours later, the full adventures of Gregory Peccary. In between, you have like just a little bit of everything in like the best way possible. It's a roadmap of everything Frank did in the 70s, it seems. It seems like you have your 60s Frank, which maybe Uncle Meat is the best thing that represents that. And then you have your 70s Frank. And this is, I think, the best representation of 70s Frank is Leather. Versus Hot Rats. Hot Rats. I mean, 6 almost if not perfect songs. This is another one of those albums where if somebody probably only owns one Frank Zappa album, it's probably this album. It's iconic. It's like almost so good it's ubiquitous in the Frank Zappa world. Yeah, we all know Willie the Pimp and like Peaches and Regalia is a great song, but it is so good. I think it's underappreciated, I would argue. Like it's almost dismissed. It's so incredible good, and I think it's getting the love it deserves in this competition. But is it good enough to beat Leather? I mean, Leather is so much more massive and offers so much more without really slouching. Is Hot Rats, are those 6 songs enough to convince you that it should win this? It's a better album. Is Shorter better? Is Concise better than rambling on for hours? I don't know. You decide. Vote below. That's all I have. Again, you have till Thursday night to vote. Those, again, are the brackets, what they look like in this. Sorry I couldn't take a picture of them all and fit them on the screen, but I just can't. I just can't. But that's it. Yeah, vote. You got 2 days. And then Thursday night, we'll get the final 4, people. And then over the weekend, we will decide the championship. We will decide by this time next week, we will know what this group of people on the internet considers Frank Zappa's best album, at least in 2022. Thanks for watching. Comment, vote, subscribe, all that stuff. Talk to you later. Sorry I couldn't get to your comments, but I can see Spectrum has just popped up and is now working, but I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going to get this done and try to get it uploaded while I can, because this daylight savings time is throwing me for a loop lately. And having spring break before daylight savings time and then losing an hour and going back to work, yeah, it's not going too well. It's kind of rough. It's kind of rough on the old body. But anyways, we're making it. Anyways, I'm rambling. Thanks you all for watching. Peace. Bye.